morning. Let's start off with some breaking but bad news. This is the last Morning Wood. Wait, don't cry. It's the last Morning Wood from Jackson, Mississippi for some weeks, even months to come. I'm headed back to Boulder for the start of fall camp, and the wood will be dropping from there. But today, right now, let's talk from here. Because you know what's funny? Every year college football has a season, but it's an off season because there aren't any games. No touchdowns, no championships, no scoreboards. Just workouts, meetings, recruiting, film study, position battles, and faith. But I'm here to tell you, those months, that's where championships are really built. And for Colorado football, this summer may end up being remembered as one of the most important summers in the Coach Prime era. So let's rewind it. Let's go back to April, spring ball. We walk into the spring game with more questions than answers. Would this offense really work with Brennan Marion calling the go-go plays? Could this defense take that next step under Chris Marr? Could Colorado survive losing so much talent, including NFL talent? Those were legitimate questions. Sometimes it was hate, but other times it wasn't. It wasn't narratives, it was real football questions. Then the work started, one day at a time, one practice at a time, one meeting at a time. While everybody else was debating Colorado on social media, Coach Prime wasn't talking, wasn't saying much. He was building a roster, building chemistry, building leadership, building belief. This summer wasn't about trying to replace legends. It was about creating the next generation of them. And here's where the story becomes different than everybody else's. We didn't have to guess. We didn't have to speculate, because while everybody else was standing outside the fence, the Pregame Network was inside. The practices, the meetings, the conversations with coaches, conversations with players, inside moments that nobody else in America gets to see. Now, that's not a flex, that's responsibility. Because when you have unprecedented access, your job isn't to create headlines, your job is to tell the truth. And here's the truth. This football team grew up this summer. You could feel it, the confidence, the accountability, the competition. Nobody was handed anything. Every rep mattered. Every meeting mattered. Every day mattered. We watched Brennan Marion begin installing an offense that looks different, feels different, and is designed to put pressure on defenses every single snap. We watched the new defensive staff establish its own identity. We watched veterans become leaders. We watched young players stop looking like young players. And most importantly, we watched Coach Prime do what he always does best, and that's lead. Not through slogans, not through press conferences, but through standards. That's what this summer was really about, standards. Now, if you've been watching Morning Wood all summer, you know we've covered it all. We've talked about why people were doubting Brennan Marion. We talked recruiting. We talked development over stars. We talked culture over clicks. We talked about what Colorado was becoming instead of just what people hoped it would be. Because football isn't won in July, but it sure can be lost there. Now, here we are. The calendar is flipped. Summer is over. Fall camp, although it's August, fall camp is here. And everything changes. The conversations become competitions. The projections become production. Potential becomes performance. Nobody cares what happened in June anymore. Now it's about earning Saturdays. Colorado opens camp in Colorado Springs before returning to Boulder, and every practice from this point forward moves one step closer to opening night in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. And let me say this clearly. This is also a transition moment for us, because this is the last Morning Wood we're doing from Jackson, and that matters. Because every episode up to this point has been built from here, from the grind, from the distance, from watching Colorado football through a different lens. But the next ones you see, they're going to come from Boulder, from the mountains, from inside the environment, from closer to the program than you have been seeing before. And that changes everything. Not the message, but the access. Not the truth, but the proximity to it. This is where the movie starts. Everything you watched since the spring game was the trailer. Now the real story begins. The position battles, who's going to be the breakout stars, the leadership moments, the adversity, manufactured and real, the victories, the lessons. And here's my promise to you. We're going to keep bringing you what no one else can. Not just highlights, context, not just interviews, relationships, not just opinions, but access. The moments between the moments, the conversations after the camera stopped rolling, the stories behind the headlines, because that's what the Pregame Network was built to do. So as we close the book on another summer, don't think of today as the ending. Think of it as chapter 1. Everything we've covered, everything we've learned, everything we've shown you has led us right here. The waiting is over. The building is over. The talking is over. Now it's football time in America. I'm Uncle Neely, and this has been The Morning Wood. I'll see y'all at camp.